I'm Anita from Cedar Hill Farmhouse.
And I'm Yvonne at Stone Gable.
And I'm Kelly from My Soulful Home, and we have tips and tricks and decorating advice for you. So let's get started.
This is episode 13, Using Crystal, China, and Silver. And I am a dish fanatic, so I'm very excited to be talking about this today. And I think things have changed a lot over the years with crystal, china, and silver. I know sometimes people don't register for it anymore. So, Yvonne, you've had two kids get married. What about them?
Yes.
Did they register for those things? How did that work?
No, my kids did not register for China, and I had to sort of change my thought processes about registering. My kids, they don't, kids today do not entertain the same way as people did in the past who like to set a big table and use their best things that they had and put out huge meals. I think it's a lot more casual today. My
I think
kids
so.
were my kids were into registering like at Pottery Barn, Crate and Barrel, those type of places, and they have very nice everyday dishes that they really use when they're entertaining a little more formally. I'm on the wedding circuit. I have young marrieds, and I'm going to two weddings within the next 6 weeks. And neither of these young couples have registered for China silver or any crystal.
Well, in the weddings I've been to recently, it's the same thing. I've found the same thing. They registered for really, inexpensive everyday dishes that they found at Target, and there might have been some really inexpensive flatware, and that was about it. So it's really changed over the years, and
And
so
I
I think
love it. I love that they don't have to get really formal, and
true.
they can, like my daughter, she got just white dishes. They're beautiful, but then she got some really cool like salad plates and different styles, different colors, and some glasses that were a little different. And so she mixes and matches them, and I just really love the way she does that. But I do miss. I must say that I do miss crystal. I like to drink out of a beautiful crystal goblet, like a nice glass of wine or something like that.
Oh, me too. Yeah. So Kelly, I mean, what do you think's going on with all these changes?
Well, I have no child brides over here, so I haven't been invited to a wedding, and I probably won't be invited to a wedding for a really long time, at least for my kids. And and most of my friends who, if they're on round two, you don't get invited, or they already have silver and china and crystal. But I think it's, you just see everything's becoming a little bit more casual and relaxed. And where I've noticed it is all the estate sales that I go to, because grandmas or great grandmas, silver and china and crystal ends up on, folding tables out at a yard sale because nobody in the
Yeah.
family even wants it. They don't know what they can do with it. It
I
wouldn't be part of
know.
their everyday lives, so they try to sell it at an estate sale or something like that. And guess what? I buy it, and I can't
Me
stop buying
too.
it
Me too.
because I
And
love it.
you cannot give it away. I could not give it away to my children because that they're not interested in it. And
No,
the sad
people don't
part
even want to
is,
store it. Like, where are you going to put
oh,
it? You know,
but the sad part is some of it is so exquisitely beautiful,
It
I
is.
but it's
know.
just not their style anymore.
Well, here's
Well, and
something
I
that'll
love.
break your
Yeah, go
heart.
ahead.
I
What?
know a woman who, when people were selling gold and silver for a while, when the metals were so, uh, you were getting such a good price for them. She couldn't stop it. People were coming to the door with grandma's tea set and melting it down.
No.
Oh
That's
my.
It's
so. Oh
like,
no.
stop the madness.
Oh no.
I ended up buying some pieces from her because I just couldn't
Just
let
to
it get
save them, huh?
melted. Save them. Yes.
Save the silver.
Come to me, little tea sets. I'll put flowers in you and put you on my counter.
So you're like a
No, I mean,
refuge
I get
for
it. I don't
discarded dishes.
discarded dishes. Oh,
Oh,
orphans.
I have an interesting story about I purchased a chest filled. Now it's silver plate, but it was very
Nothing wrong with
beautiful.
that.
No, no, very good, beautiful silver plate. My husband's a hunter, and he wanted to go to the mountains. This is when my kids were younger, and wanted to make like a little weekend trip of it. And I just was not into it. Not that I don't love being in the outdoors, but it just for some the hotel we stayed in. There was only like one hotel in 30 miles, and it's the kind you have to wear socks in the shower. That kind. So it's like camping outside. So I bit the bullet, and I'm a team player. I took one for the family, and we had a nice weekend, and I ate in like all these little grungy diners.
I got to
But
figure out how you're working silver in China.
well,
into
I'll
this
tell you.
story.
But although the breakfasts were really good there, and then we went past as we're driving home. We went past like a flea market, and I just looked at Bobby. And I said, "Can you stop?" And I think he just felt so sorry for me because he knew I was being such a trooper. And I mean that's just like death to him. And he said, "Okay." So as I'm walking up and down the aisles, I see this silver, and I think it was on sale for like $60. And I said, "Oh no, no, I'd never spend that much, but I'll give you $27 for it." And he said,
27.
"Sold, yes." So
And they
I
took
went
it?
out. I'm doing the happy dance of joy as I'm walking out of this flea market, and I just thought, well, that's what I get. That was my reward for taking one for the family.
Oh, there
And
you
it
go.
is my favorite silver. It's gorgeous. So I can't believe that they would basically give it away.
Yeah.
Well, I have one of my favorite thrift stores in Houston called The Guild has an entire room of dishes and silver.
Oh my.
I mean, it's like Mecca, I mean, there's just it's just all this vintage stuff, and it's just amazing. It's beautiful, beautiful things. So I love going there. So I mean, what about using what do you think about using all this stuff so it's kind of sounding like a lot of people are feeling like this stuff is frumpy and dated. I mean, do you think there's still a place on the table for all these things?
Ooh, nicely turned question. Well, I certainly think so. I honestly don't tell my mom, but I don't really like the stuff I picked out. I mean, I don't know. I think the whole thing was so confusing. I mean, I don't know. You guys probably don't know the store Fortune Off, but maybe that was mostly in New York. But you would go to Fortune Off and you would register, and it was all crystal and china. And then they had like a Yadro room and a Hummel's room. It was like that kind of place. Like you wanted to keep your purse close to you because you were just gonna knock something down. And that would be like the image you conjure if you say bull in a china shop. And so we went to Fortune Off, and I remember all the plates were like velcroed on this velvet wall. And I mean, the wall went on and on and on. And I mean, it just seemed so overwhelming. So I think I got a little swayed in a good way. But I don't love my china necessarily. Maybe because what I really like now is plates with crazing and crackles and chips because I love the patina, and maybe I need to just bang mine around and use it more, and then I would like it more.
No, I've had the same thing, Kelly. I love, love, love old dishes, but my china that we registered for when we got married, I just don't like it anymore. And I constantly try to rotate things in and out. And so I told my husband, I said, we don't use this. Let's just get rid of it. And he thought I was throwing our marriage away.
Oh,
He was like, how could
what's
you?
next, Anita? Me?
I know. So it just was so, I said, okay. So I did what I tell people not to do. I put it up in a closet and we don't use it.
Oh, well, I don't use mine often, but I was lucky enough, and I don't know what I was going through at the time I chose mine. It's very unusual, and it has like it's Noritake White Nile, and it doesn't have like the little flowers around the edges or the gold rims or anything. It is in the center. It has a big stylized sort of orchid, very sort of oriental looking, and then all this banding around the sides that looks very Art Deco. And I do love it even today. I don't use it often, but when I do, I'm really, it's like, oh, here they are. I'm pleased with it. But I prefer using just things I pick up at Home Goods and places like that, actually.
Well, and when I got married, I went with my maid of honor to look at dishes. And, really now I'm thinking I should have just gone by myself because I picked out the Franciscan Desert Rose, which is still popular to this day, by the way. And my maid of honor, she pulled me over, like, I was just doing some horrible thing, and she said, "I cannot let you buy those dishes." And I'm like, "What? What? What's the matter with them?" She said, "My grandmother has those dishes. Those are the frumpiest things. There is no way you're getting those dishes."
Are you sure I wasn't your maid of honor?
You don't like them?
Mm-mm, no.
Well, that's the
Sorry,
dishes.
sweetie.
Oh, so I ended up getting some other dishes that actually were discontinued before I even got back from my honeymoon, by the way. And I don't like those dishes anymore. But later on, a few years ago, I found the Desert Rose at a or a consignment store, and I bought them. So we use
Oh,
them.
there you go.
But I don't use them a lot in the photography because they don't mix as well with a lot of the white dishes and things. But that's what we use every day, and I still love them.
Oh, do you use them every day?
I do.
Oh, how
well,
nice
that's
is
great.
that? Maybe that's a good tip. If you don't like to use your good china, if you have old good china like your wedding china, it just doesn't go. You could use that every day. That's a except you probably have to wash it by hand. That's
Oh,
the
yeah,
one
The
downside.
well,
washing
the
by hand is a
china,
drag.
right.
The gold bands.
And
Oy.
and so do you remember my mother-in-law, she that I talked about how she really wanted us
Yes.
to keep all her stuff?
Yes.
I had probably, I don't know, 5, 6 sets of dishes by now because I do collect dishes. She had probably 10 sets of dishes. And,
Oh
we were
my.
given the order really to keep it, to really keep things. But, I couldn't absorb all those dishes. So I got rid of a lot and I just kind of kept a few things. She had some Haviland dishes and the Lennox wheat that are kind of a cream and gold that I kept. And some white Johnson Brother dishes I kept. And then everything else I gave it away.
I'd watch out when you get to heaven in case she's there because
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, you might
kept-
want to just watch your back there.
I kept a bunch of stuff.
Okay,
I do
yeah.
think there is a place at the table for beautiful china, just like there's a place at the table for white every day. I've had Mikasa Italian countryside for over 20 years as my
Oh, wow.
everyday, and I love that it's just starting to get, after 20 some years, it's starting to show wear, but that's a good long life using every day. But I think there's a place for both of them, and I think there's really a place, and this is a good thing to do if you just don't want to have a table. I don't like a table that totally matches. Just
me
use
neither,
your
yeah.
beautiful plate and put something, a really nice salad plate on top of it or a different bowl. Cups and saucers, I love to mix and match those. So mix and match it with white and use the cup of your good china with the plain white and vice versa all the way around the table. So it makes it look a little more up to date. What do you think about
I
that,
think
girls?
that's a great tip. And here's the thing, we're talking about things that maybe we didn't like or don't like or liked then and don't like now. But what if you really like your china and your silver and your crystal and you're just saving it for a special occasion, and then you're just going to
Good
pull it
point.
out once or twice a year? You know what? Life's too short, and every day should be a special occasion. So even if it's not, the gravy boat and the serving spoons, maybe just incorporate, some salad plates of what your china was or is, and maybe take out, some silver and just use small spoons for scooping condiments or something like that. Just work it in and make it part of every day rather than just saving it for the holidays because, there's only so many holidays and so many years to use them.
Well, remember I talked about my silver tray that I use for my
Yes,
breakfast?
yes.
So
That's
every
beautiful.
morning I get a pretty china cup and a silver teaspoon, and I have my green tea every morning, and that's what I use, and it just makes me happy, and it just wouldn't be the same in a styrofoam cup. I'm just
No,
going
I
to say
love
it.
that. It's
I do
elevating
too.
the everyday, and that's so much about why we do what we do, right? Just elevating the everyday and inspiring people to do that.
I think also just you may not use china every day, but if you have like silver plate like I do, I use that all the time. Or I have Waterford crystal, and I do love to use that, and I did collect that purposefully. There's nothing so beautiful as serving water or a glass of wine or a nice port or something in it, and it just looks so beautiful. So whenever we, have anybody over, we pull that out and we have company a lot.
Well, and an excellent point about using all these things. If you're using your silver and washing it often, it's not going to get tarnished. So it really does cut down on the wear if you use your china all the time.
But I don't even mind it tarnished. I mean, maybe
Yeah,
not the
true.
actual the pieces you're going to be using to eat with, but I seek out very tarnished silver pitchers,
Me
whether
too.
it's real silver or plated. And a good friend of mine, I know she was joking because she does. At least she says she likes my style. But she came into my former house, and I had a whole shelf filled with all these different silver plated, really tarnished pitchers. And she's like, "Well, you're saving time on polishing your silver." Well, yeah, I love
Why
it
not?
that way.
I think you're right. I think a little tarnish. Now, I used to not like that because I love the sparkle of silver, but I think a little tarnish or patina on it makes it look warm. It's just such a nice warm feeling. And I use my silver to decorate with a lot, especially like my silver flatware. I just have a thing for putting silver flatware in little pitchers.
Oh, me too. I
And
love
I
that.
just use them as decorations, sit them all over. I think it looks so pretty. And I love to cook. So I have silver, like just odds and ends that I had spoons that I pick up. And I'll use them and put them in a little crock next to my cooktop. And I use them as tasting spoons.
Oh, great idea.
Great
Which
idea.
brings me to the next point, which is how do you use these things in decor, not just on the table for meals, but how can we use these things in decor?
Oh, I'll put a
Anyone?
plate anywhere.
Me too.
I'll slap
Me
a
too.
plate up on a wall. I'll use it to put soap dishes on. I love to use anything, old or new, plates as decor. Stacking them to make risers for something else. I have open shelves in my breakfast area. Now it doesn't have old china, but it does have a lot of old ironstone, and I use that. So I think it elevates, like you said, Kelly, elevates the everyday, and that is such a nice way to live.
It is a nice way to live, right? And I agree. All the things you said, stacking them, using them as little soap dishes, piling the silver into a crock, all great ideas. Even, tying a little set together with a little twine or something and just laying it, next to maybe a bud vase or something like that. It's just really charming.
Another thing I do is this what you were saying, stacking about 4 or 5 saucers and putting a cup and then filling that with some pretty little flowers. And that's just the loveliest decor. And I have a tip, girls, for not ruining your china if you want to hang it up and you don't want to hang it with those wire clips. I use something called disc, D-I-S,
I've
D-I,
used those.
do you,
I use
S-C?
those too.
Well, I
And
don't. Go ahead. You finish your thought.
and I we'll put that in the show notes where you can get those. You can get those on Amazon, and they're just these yellow discs with a hanger on the back. There's like a round. They're round, and you wet them, and you put them on the back of whatever you're going to hang, and the how heavy your item is. Determines how big your disc will be, and then when it dries you can hang it up, and when you are done and you want to take it off, you just soak it and it comes off and it doesn't ruin anything. Now I have seen some reviews that said they've had it fall, but I've never had any. If you follow the directions to a T, I've never had anything fall off my wall.
So the cheap version of that is to get
I
a
know you do this. Brilliant.
is to do well. I was using D rings, and then a reader told me don't use D rings, just use those pull tabs off a soda can, and then I use Gorilla Glue and glue it to the back of the plates, and I've used that a lot. And then you don't have the plate hangers, and I mean, in a drawer full of probably 100 of those plate hangers, and they are a mess to work with. The wire ones that show, I just don't like the look. So I love either using the disc, like you were saying,
If
or
you want to
just
remove it ever, if you're not quite sure.
well, but even with the Gorilla Glue, I've popped it up with a knife, pop the whole
Did you
thing off.
really? Oh, okay.
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 Yeah, because I was going to say I brought a lot of dishes. Love plates on the wall, and I had a big collection in our powder room in the former house, and now I'm using these same dishes more for stacking and things like that in my cupboard in my kitchen. So some of them weren't sitting right because I think it's by the company Leeds, Yvonne, but it's the yellow disc. It's the same one I think that we're
Okay.
talking about. They were so easy to remove. I just laid them in the sink with a little hot soapy water, and I let them sit for about half hour, and they just peeled right off.
You know, that's such a good way to save your beautiful plates. You know, you want to make sure that you save them and you don't like have to. Sometimes and some things you have to like put a little sandpaper to it to make it rough.
Yeah.
And that hurts my heart.
Inevitably, with the new year come wellness goals. One very effective and easy to reach goal is to add dose to your wellness regime. Dose is expertly formulated organic wellness shots that support your liver in one delicious drink. Formulated with ingredients clinically shown to support liver health, potent turmeric, milk thistle, and ginger. There's 0 sugar and 0 calories. Did you know that your liver performs over 500 special functions? Since I learned all that my liver is doing, I started with Dose to support all those vital functions. I take a shot of refreshing Dose 2 times per week to combat everyday toxins from food, meds, alcohol, and unhealthy air. Since starting with Dose about a month ago, I am definitely feeling an overall improvement in my health. So if you want to give Dose a shot and invest in your health like I have, Dose is offering DTT listeners 15% off your first order, plus an additional 15% off if you subscribe for a monthly delivery. That's 30% off your first order. So go to dosedaily.co/DTT and use the code DTT. That's dosedaily.co.co/DTT and use the code DTT. Pesto pork chops over Parmesan polenta. Not that easy to say, but oh so easy to make with Green Chef. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit company for eating well, and we have such a great deal for you. You're going to save $250. Listen on for the details on that. Green Chef makes eating well easy for any lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat more balanced meals. You know, we're getting into the busy holiday season, so it's a perfect time to have Green Chef help you out. Let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season with their chef-crafted, nutritionist-approved recipes featuring fresh ingredients and nothing artificial. And you know what? You don't have to lose track of your healthy eating habits during the holidays. Every Green Chef customer gets a free session with their registered dietitians who will walk you through how to make clean eating work for you. So sign up for your free session and start on the road towards better health today. And that deal I want to tell you about. Visit greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. So that's greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order.
I want to talk about one other thing. Let's talk about hutches and people who display their china in hutches. That's nice, but that's such a dated look. Can we
and my mother-in-law
figure out another way?
My mother-in-law had 3 china cabinets, by the way. So yeah, I mean, I use plate racks on the wall. I do put them in cupboards, and I leave them stacked on my fireplace mantle. I have them in cabinets. Like you said, I have them all over the houses, and then I also love to use the silver vases for flowers. I mean, the silver water pitchers. I love to use for flowers.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Now, when you're saying hutches, are you talking about those
China
glass-
cabinets? China cabinets.
right.
Yeah,
You know
it's-
how all the plates are stand up like little soldiers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's saying that's a little dated.
Yeah,
It
well,
is, and
I
I'm not saying
agree.
there's anything wrong with that if you love it,
Right.
and it's a nice way to show off your china. But I think there should be a better way that it looks a little more updated, and what can you do with
Well,
that?
I do have one
Well,
on my back porch, so, but, maybe
yeah,
that's a
but
little
putting
different
it on
because
the
it's on the
back
porch.
porch makes it, gives it a different life. Anyway, I think it's a part of that whole idea of that, well, that is for special occasions, and now we've locked it in that glass cabinet, and, you
It's
can
in the
only
inner
just look at
sanctum.
it and take it out once a year. So, maybe loosening all of that up, taking it out, using it, or painting the cherry wood or whatever is, your china cabinet is made
Now
of.
you know we're going to get mail and phone calls about this.
About the no, you are.
Painting your, yeah, I am. That's true. About painting your cherry. But if we're talking about, and if you want to say, if you love it, you go girl. But if you're
That's
looking
what we
for an
always say. If
option,
you love it, go girl, because we love you.
yes.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but just like you said, Kelly, painting your hutch and maybe putting pictures in the top row, and then the second row you could do some of your china with something interspersed, just breaking that up. And I love how you said loosening it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I know that my young married daughter, they have built in, and they call it a butler pantry, and
yeah.
but it's really part of their kitchen, and it's just beautiful. But they're all glass, and they stack instead of like putting them like little soldiers, which but they have the depth to do it. Really looks nice. Or just even
yeah.
it would be so pretty just to take a plate or a platter you love and put either a disc or do your Coke tab with the Gorilla Glue, tie a beautiful plaid ribbon or something, and put that on the front of either of both sides of your glass cabinet.
Oh,
So
great
really
idea.
you have like a big beautiful plate sticking out with a gorgeous ribbon.
Oh, or a
open
huge
them up
platter
and do
would
the
be
same.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah,
love
or
that
open
idea.
them up and do the same, just to give it something different.
Right. Breathe a little
Absolutely.
new life into it.
Yeah, and I love the idea
absolutely.
of having stacked dishes around my house because I feel like it looks like I'm getting ready to have a party. I'm not, but I could if I wanted to. But I did used to have parties all the time.
And can I say vignette again without?
Yes.
Okay. And because you said stack dishes, and one of my favorite ways to use dishes, I just take a big basket or a tray or whatever I'm using at that moment in my breakfast nook for my round kitchen table, and I use that. I stack dishes all in it and make sort of a pretty vignette out of really cool dishes. And obviously, you will find my creamer with my silver in there, and it just looks pretty. And also what we did last summer is I did a vignette with all of our summer dishware, and we
pretty.
just instead of washing it and putting it back in the cabinet, we just put it back on there, and when it's dinner time we just pulled everything out of the basket and set the table.
Oh, that's a great idea. I have a little thing set up for, we haven't had too much time to entertain outside because the backyard was not finished last summer, but my daughter did have some friends over, and I did the same thing. It was a wire basket, and I just thought, well, it looks so pretty and it's got everything we need, and all I have to do is pick it up and go outside. And some of that was really nice stuff, but it was stuff I picked up for less than $1 at an estate sale. So, I'm carrying out some crystal and some silver, and we ordered pizza, for the girls, but it just made it look so pretty.
Oh,
and,
how fun.
Stuck a few flowers in another little silver vase and put it on the table. And, they didn't say, gee, Mrs. Wilkness, thanks so much. Your crystal looked great. But, I think they just felt like it was more festive than if we just ordered pizza and, I gave them paper plates.
Well, and I use all those paper white bulbs. I had a bunch more. Actually, I bought 40 at a time, of course, because I don't know when to stop. And I put a bunch in little silver-plated gravy boats I got at the thrift
That's
store.
a great
And they look
idea.
How pretty.
They're coming up right now. But the other thing, what's hot?
I'm just praying, Yvonne. Let's pray for them.
Oh,
Because they need a house.
No, I
They
actually
can't go
saw.
under a cloche. They'll
Well,
bang
you
their
know
little
what?
heads.
I saw in a picture, I saw Anita's paper whites in a beautiful, is it enamel? Is it a white enamel?
Yes, yes, yes.
I saw it too.
Planter. So she can do it.
I know.
Well, and that was from today if you're talking about Instagram. And as they began to flop over, I put a ribbon around them to kind of hold those little
Good
babies up.
girl. Yeah.
But I love the idea of planting something in a little and wouldn't succulents look gorgeous?
Oh,
because
great
there's
idea.
that juxtaposition of something that's sort of modern and now
I like that.
trending with something that's just really elegant and a day gone by.
Juxtaposition is one of my favorite words.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's one of my banned words. Oh, good.
I love that word.
You know what's hot right now is hotel silver.
Oh, I know.
And so I've been finding
Don't tell anybody. I'm not going to be able to
I
get it
know, I
cheaper
probably
that I can
shouldn't.
get
I think the
that.
word's out though. I found some silver from the Hotel Pierre at the thrift store, and so it was just a few pieces, but I have it in one of those antique ironstone creamers, and it just looks gorgeous. And then some silverware from the Fontainebleau, which I think is the one in Miami. But
I
I've
don't
got
know.
that.
That is right.
I
Hey,
don't
it's
speak
a-
French, so I don't know.
So another
It's
fun
a
thing
big
to
blue fountain.
Can I ask you a question, Anita?
Yes.
I can't find where I live. I live out in the sticks, and I can't find any hotel silver here. Is there another? Is there another
Yes.
place you can find it? And I love hotel silver.
Yes, I would definitely go on eBay. I mean, you can find
my gosh, I never
anything
thought
on
of
there.
that.
In
Of
fact,
course.
that kind of brings me to my other suggestion is if you love monograms and if you're a Southern girl like me, it's just part of our middle name is monogram. So that's where I get my monogram things is on eBay. In fact, I found some silver that had a CH on them for, Cedar Hill. And they were actually from the Harmony Club in New York City. It was a musical club from men. It was about 100 years ago. And it had the CH on it, and I bought that pretty cheaply on eBay.
Oh, I love any silver. It doesn't even have to have my initial on it. I just love that. And the reason a lot of them, a long time ago, these antiques that are the silver that are monogrammed is because people would bring their own silver when they would go to stay at somebody's house.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They would know. Well, we're steeped in so much revolutionary history here because of where we live, and they would know which was theirs because they were monogrammed.
Oh, so that's the whole thing too with the napkin rings because I'm really into the monogram napkin rings, and each person would have. They were monogrammed because people reused the napkins every day, and that's how you knew that was your napkin.
Oh,
Was
isn't
because
that
it
amazing?
it had your monogram on it. So for a long time, it was considered impolite to use napkin rings because the implication was that the napkin was dirty. So.
I
My
never
girls
knew
could
that. That's
not
really
do
interesting.
that. They
So
need a
I know
fresh
now nobody even knows this stuff anymore, but
Well, it would save a lot of laundry at my house.
I know. Oh.
So, okay, which brings us to that's a good question about where to get that. Where do you all where do you find vintage dishes, silver, crystal? Where do you find them?
I go to estate sales for sure. Etsy you can too if you're looking for a particular thing, but I kind of like the thrill of the hunt. I like to find it there. Plus shipping on something like that. The silver is heavy and the crystal can break. So I usually just do it in person. Can I just tell you a little something that I got to experience last year since we're talking about silver, china, and crystal? Last summer, I was asked to take an inventory of the china and the crystal at the Huntington Gardens residence.
They trusted you with that?
Yes, the Huntington Gardens. I know. It's
Nothing
crazy.
made it home in your pocket?
Isn't it amazing? I know. I had to have a lot of self-control, but it was just such an, for someone who wouldn't care about it, it would just be sort of like counting things. But I almost had to.
You must have
remind
been
myself
giddy.
to breathe because I
Yes.
walked in and it was not the Huntington Gardens, in Sam, they're world famous botanical gardens, but not on the gardens property, but this is the private residence for the person who is
wow.
the director at the time, and it's a beautiful old home, and they do a lot of entertaining. So I just have to share my experience walking into this gigantic butler's pantry and opening up these old cabinets. I felt like, like Mrs. Hughes a little bit, that I was coming in to check them. And I opened it all up and, and they were dusty and they were old and no one had used them in a long time. And so I counted
Wow.
endless cordial glasses and patterns of china, and over the course of the years, there was, a lot of orphans and just, 3 of this plate and 9 of that plate, but we got it all organized. I labeled it all and they were all on the shelves, so when they have the parties they know, well, we can use this because we're having 6 people, we have enough of a set and so that. But it was just, I just wanted to share that little experience because it
What
for
a
someone
fun,
who likes
fun
this sort of thing, I
experience.
mean, you guys would have had goosebumps like I did.
What a fun, fun experience.
Go ahead, clean out your closet, then head straight to Quince. I love every item Quince offers, from wardrobe to decor, and I can really recommend their Ultra Stretch Super Wide Leg Pant at $49.90. The price is unbeatable, and the look is so flattering. It keeps you in on top and flares out of the bottom. Everything feels right with Quince. The price, the quality, and the sustainability. Quince offers a range of luxury wardrobe and home goods at prices within reach. And like Quince's clothing, their home goods are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. Once you've cleaned out your closet and refreshed with Quince, you can also add something to your home decor. So give your wardrobe and your home the refresh it needs with Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. And let me know how you love those pants. Green Chef is a delicious delight any time of year, but especially during the holidays. What a wonderful vision to behold as the Green Chef boxes on your doorstep. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well. And it makes eating well so easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat a more balanced diet. So let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season. And if you've got guests coming, shop Green Bundles. They're now available at the Green Market. It's your one-stop shop for nutritious grab-and-go breakfast, including vegan options, brunch kits, wholesome lunches, ready-to-eat snacks, veggie sides, and more. You can feel your best this December and do your best with Green Chef because they offset 100% of the delivery emissions as well as 100% of the plastic in every box. Go to greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT and get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT to get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months.
Hey, we have time for just one more question before we go. Anita, what is the piece that you use all the time of either silver, china, or crystal?
I'm going to say a silver water pitcher. I use that a lot for flowers or cut branches from my yard. I use that almost every day, and I leave them sitting out even when they're empty. So that's mine.
I actually think I know which one it is.
You've seen it over and over again.
I love it. How about you, Kelly?
I use a stack of white platters that I have collected, and they are, they were obviously part of someone's special sets. There's some Limoges and Haviland. There's, a mixture, but they're all sort of white with maybe a little texture. And I stack them in my kitchen. And, if we have cupcakes or something, I just grab them. That's what we use them. I have a bunch of strawberries on one of the smaller ones this morning. So I like to just have them on hand.
And mine would be I use flatware. I just love it's mostly silver plate, but I just can't get enough of it, and I use
me
it all
too.
the time. And my favorite way to use it is tasting spoons,
That's a
and
great
also to
idea.
put out for hors d'oeuvres. I love that. Well, girls, we're out of time, and this has been such a good discussion. We have so much more we could have poured into, but we're out of time. So we just want to say to our listeners, remember, we are here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time.
Hey there. If you're loving our podcast like we're loving our podcast, we would love you to rate and review us. Head to iTunes to do that. It's easy and it would mean so much to us. And if you do rate and review us, we're going to enter you to win a fantastic giveaway. The details for the giveaway are in the show notes for this episode, and you can find the show notes at decoratingtipsandtricks.com.